Shalom, all praises to Yahweh, Ba'Shem Yahushua, Ba'Shem Harakah Kadash, double honors to the apostles and elders, great most on the rule well, and Shalom to the brothers doing the work of in truth. I was meditating on this article here, because it's kind of a follow-up to on how in the UK they've basically been pressuring on social media, like things that you post online, you can get grabbed up, you can get thrown in jail off the back of it, and it's something that's not it's not slowed down. And then given something that's happened earlier today, while touching it, but I'll just read this verse on Zero Hedge from the Epoch Times. It said, "What UK's Online Safety Act may be canary in the coal mine for Canada under Online Harms Act." And yeah, for I think Canada as well, like the UK, they don't have what's some freedom of speech like they do in the US. There's no like First Amendment equivalent where you can more or less say anything and there's no punishment tied to it. But then what does it say? So it says, we need to talk about Julie Sweeney. She's a 53-year-old English woman who used to live in Church Lawton, Cheshire, and she once had a Facebook account. Today she's in prison serving a 15-month sentence after being convicted under new criminal code provisions in the UK Online Safety Act. From all available accounts, Miss Sweeney had, at least until this summer, lived without causing any trouble or having any negative interactions with the local constabulary. Then on August 3rd, she lost her temper during the height of the British riot that ensued following the murder of little girls in a Taylor Swift dance class, and wrote something really nasty on a local community group Facebook page. "Don't protect the mosques," she wrote to the 5,100 member group. "Blow the mosque up with the adults in it." And she's one of like many that were saying similar things, and because of that, it's run. That's become the undercurrent, let's say, of a lot of the feedback, let's say, the laws being passed, the action being taken against what people post online. It's kind of the root of it. Because more or less, it's I think, funny enough, I think with this as well, I don't think it would be I think it would still be illegal in like the US, because calls for violence aren't protected under the First Amendment anyway. But the only issue is here is people are being thrown in jail for that over here, which is why it's become the focus. But then, like this article is going to go into, is something that is being applied in the UK now, but that can easily be spread. I did the video on like Brazil, basically locking down what's it called, Twitter or X or whatever the fuck, over there because what's his name, Elon wasn't censoring things over there as he was instructed. But then it seems like all the other social media platforms have to comply, and have been doing that to continue to function over there, which is it kind of is interesting, because you had it's more or less just putting it out in public, things that were already known, because it's been known that, especially during a pandemic, what restrictions on what you're allowed to post online, that shit was coming from the US. Sorry, coming from the government. And then it's plain as day. coming from the government. So that's a very ugly thing to say, and within hours, one individual who read it complained to the police, who promptly arrested Miss Sweeney. According to Crown Prosecutor, upon being taken into custody, Miss Sweeney told officers, "I'm not being rude, but there are a lot of people saying it," which there probably was, and she was just the unfortunate one that got reported on it and then got thrown in jail. Because more likely than not, there would have been like hundreds of people saying that. It said it was a 5,100 person group. There'd have been hundreds of people saying that shit and giving no fucks. But it said that's not good, but it's important to note that while there was indeed violence directed towards a mosque, Miss Sweeney's comments related to the aftermath. There is no evidence which I can find in the coverage of the case that the post inspired anyone to do harm to the building. But I think even making a statement to incite an act of violence, I think that's not covered under the First Amendment anyway. Like saying go and do harm to X, Y, Z. But what it say? There is no evidence going to be coverage. Blah 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 blah. To rally and crime. Okay. Nor was any proof offered that she seriously wished for the mosque with the adults in it to be blown up. Yeah, other than her saying it. But that's they're just being like, oh, it's crazy. The thing is it's a fucking batshit thing to say anyway. With her name tied to it as well. But that's it's mainly because shit actually went down as well. So as such, since shit went down, then yeah, I ain't surprised she's through. So yeah, okay, let's get to the thing. According to the Daily Mail, her lawyer had told the court that Miss Sweeney accepts it was stupid. This was a single comment on a single day. He said, "She lives a quiet, sheltered life in Cheshire and has not troubled the court in her long life. Her character references show she lives a kind and compassionate lifestyle. She's been a primary carer for her husband since 2015. But then obviously, because there was actually shit happening off the back of it, then they can just say, look, she's going to be made an example. And that's how real the shit is. So what did it say? The judge said he took Sweeney's good character and he turned a heartrending letter from her husband into account, but that even people like you need to go to prison because a message must go out. If you do these terrible acts, the court will say to you, you must go to prison. So yeah. And that's the thing is like this is basically being used as a show of force, for the laws, and then when further laws get passed, it's basically a means to keep people in line, and that's really what the situation serves to be. Because even with like social media, Twitter aside, it's like for what's it called? For the hell am I thinking of? For for Facebook. Let's say Twitter aside. I mean, well, whichever one. Facebook aside, Twitter is basically letting people, post any and everything. And the thing is now is they're gonna basically be looking at, as, because the thing is over here is all these different incidents have been I've been picking up to where it's like they all that being posted online saying XYZ, you should take this guy, you should take that guy out. Now there's follow through on it. Then they can be like, okay, look, we're gonna have to restrict XYZ. We're gonna have to limit what people can can post, can do, etc. Because so some Sky News says this one happened just today. Like this one's fresh. Today or yesterday? I think it was today. Oh no, it would have been yesterday, yeah. I believe. Okay. So it says Leicestershire Park attack. Five children arrested over murder of 80-year-old man in Franklin Park, Brownston town. So yeah, so you had five youth them. I think it was what, two 14-year-olds and three 12-year-olds. So they kicked this guy to death, is what it seems like. Or they kicked him to like kicked him down, and then he passed after. Yeah, well, he died in hospital last night. Okay, yeah. So so I think they must have just like thought they just beat the shit out of him, but then it was actually a murder. So as the police say, those responsible fled before emergency services arrived, and officers are now questioning five youngsters. Five children have been arrested on suspicion of the murder of an 80-year-old man who was attacked in a park on the outskirts of Leicester. And the thing is like now, when I wasn't on Twitter before it was revealed, the race of the guy got revealed, but I think there was people that knew in advance of it coming out publicly anyway. But with how like discussions online have been, people would have been like saying what do you call it? People would have been saying, oh, it would have been migrants doing this. It's more migrant violence. Blah. It's all those racial tensions are just out there, and being pushed heavily, because any and everything that happens, people are just like, yo, what do you call it? Any and everything that happens, people are just jumping on and pushing out narratives online, which it shouldn't really be a mystery at this point, but then it all ties into to what do you call that? It all ties into these further legislation getting passed and restrictions of freedoms and whatnot, and then people being party to it, because people are going to be fine with it, because why? They're going to say, look, you have people out saying and doing whatever they want, and now people are doing acts of violence off the back of that. So we got to restrict, which it shouldn't be a marvel, it should be a mystery. So yeah, so Bim Sen Cohill, or Coley, who was walking his dog in Brownston Park, was seriously assaulted on Sunday. So it's on Sunday, and died in the hospital last night. Okay, so yeah, he passed. So a boy and a girl, both 14, and two girls and a boy, all aged 12, are being questioned by police. The attack happened near the entrance of Franklin Park in Bramble Way about 6:30 p.m. Mr. Coley is believed to have been wearing a black jumper and grey jogging bottoms, and police said the attackers left before emergency services arrived. So yeah, you got youths basically beating this guy down just because he's obviously a Indian Don, I believe. So I'm almost certain it's going to be a bunch of white youths beaten to death. So the whole kind of racial tensions are just it's all come back as a wave. And it hasn't really toned down in any kind of particular way. It's been popping off to where people are like, oh shit. What did it say? Mr. Coley's neighbor and friend, who gave his name as Deep, told Sky News he was a very good man, very quiet, very jolly. Never had any problems, never heard anything, shouting, anything like that. Yeah, he's a family man, he was a very nice man. It's really shocking what happened. Never thought it would happen like that. This is a busy park. And yeah, it's a Sunday at 6:30, so the sunlight, it was kind of wild. But then he's also like in his 80s, so he's old as fuck. So he's him surviving that is peak. But then that's why it's all so all these things, incidents taking place. What's it going to lead to? Just further legal ramifications. Because that's really where it's going to come together. Once laws Yeah, once laws start getting passed off the back of it, that's most likely where it's gonna come together. Because in the UK already, like they said, it's the online, saying certain things, you're already gonna get thrown in jail. This is probably just gonna make it harsher, and then even on these different racial acts, new laws might come in, or they might start tracking, people saying certain things online, and then all those things. I just think, well, it's coming towards restricting what the brothers are saying, because this is it's kind of nuts for, what is it, two 14-year-olds, three 12-year-olds to just beat a guy to death in public, like a public park. So more likely than not, like, they're fucking toast as well, regardless of the age. I think it was what was it in the James Bolger case in the UK that you had in, like, Liverpool, I believe. But that one was against like a 3-year-old. It was like a 12-year-old, 11-year-old, when they beat like a 3-year-old to death. Just fucking insane. But yeah, 2nd Esdras 15 and 14 says, "Woe to the world and them that dwell therein, for their sword and their destruction draweth nigh." And yeah, woe to the world and them that dwell therein. It's destruction upon the world and them that dwell therein. Which, that's really what we've seen, because that's the thing. People are looking would have been looking at these things like it's just a flash in the pan, all these racial tensions. But what the reality of it is the way that society's been structured. All those, these Esau on the bottom, they thought they had a certain, a certain slice, a certain level of society that they were owed. But then now, looking, in reality, how it's coming together is they're finding out, they've not been considered. Because what is your elites that are bringing in all these different, nations to come in to make merchandise of them? Because why? That's the elites care about what they're getting on the top. They don't give a fuck about these nobodies on the bottom. But it's it's that slow build over time that's been there. And 2016 it came out, and now again it's coming out. They're saying it's off the back of those little girls dying, which to a certain degree, that took place. But then really it's just people just wanted to cut loose. And then again, it's like, we're beating this guy to death. That's just like, what the fuck even happened? But all these things are gonna, the Elam dons are gonna be feeling a certain way about it, and then as well, the what do you call it? The English boys are gonna be feeling a certain way about it, because they're just gonna think like, oh, why does everyone give a fuck about this? Blah blah blah, which is same shit that happens. Because why, now we're in a time where it's like all those racial tensions, that's become the norm, and that's gonna continue to build, to boil over. Because why, this is basically setting the stage for what do you call it, for martial law, for further things to come in, where they can bring in a heavier level of control and power over the people. Because why, there's gonna be so much chaos. It says what, for the sword and their destruction draweth nigh, and one people shall stand up and fight against another, and swords in their hands. So yeah, the sword and their destruction. That's the thing. It's just gonna come down to violence, and most people in society now are disconnected from violence, which is why these incidents, the riots happening. For some, it's like, oh damn, I didn't know this could happen. Like, why is this? Oh, this is fit. But that's especially with when you go outside of London, a lot of these like different white boys, they ain't got shit to do, man. They ain't got shit to do. That shit's entertainment for them. And you get them in a big group that they're gonna start feeling a certain way. But then what's it ultimately come down to? Prophecy. Because says what, for there shall be sedition among men and invading one another. They shall not regard their kings nor princes, and the course of their actions shall stand in their power. Yeah, sedition among men. That's really what we've been seeing. Because it's not just, it's happening, how it's happening in the UK, it's how it's happening over here. But you got it happening a different way in the US. You happen a different way in various different nations. Everyone's you go into like what's happening, current events in various different countries around the around the world. You're gonna have all kinds of like social issues and whatnot, monetary pressures, all these different things hitting to where people are just like, yo, like we need a change, kind of a mindset. And then what? More and more, you're gonna see that manifest. Because of why? Because of prophecy. It says, course their action shall stand in their power. A man shall desire to go into a city and shall not be able. So yeah, even restrictions on where you can move. These things are all gonna come together. Because why? Prophecy. Prophecy being fulfilled, basically. And then, the elites are going to come down with force too. For because of the pride of their pride, the cities shall be troubled, the houses shall be destroyed, and the men shall be afraid. Yeah, it's going to come down to, immense violence. As far as for now, the things happening now are going to seem tame. And that's the thing, is you go to any of these, war-torn locations, any place where it's in a heavy conflict, you're going to see it manifest. What did it say? A man shall have no pity upon his neighbor, but shall destroy their houses with the sword and spoil their goods because of the lack of bread and for great tribulation. And yeah, then when hardships come in, when, lack of bread, when restrictions on certain things come in, it's gonna get even more legendary. Because why? When a motherfucker's starving, when people are starving, everything turns up to 11. And that's, these are things that a lot of people are not like prepared for in their mind. They exist, but they exist insofar as they happen in movies, or they read it on the news happening in like the Middle East or in Ukraine or some shit. It ain't become a reality as far as they see it in modern times. Because what does it say? Revelation 12:12. Therefore rejoice, ye heavens, and ye that dwell in them. Woe to the inhabitants of the earth and of the sea, for the devil is come down unto you, having great wrath, because he knoweth that he hath but a short time. And yeah, all these incidents you see is over here in the UK, because with the online stuff, with all the posts being made, you've already had laws being spoken about and people being thrown in fucking jail for posting shit online. So that's already become clear what the angle is with that. It's something being used to basically be like, okay, what's on the internet? We can't just let people post and do whatever they want. And then as well, with this, then they could just say that, okay, where we're gonna have to place some form of restrictions. Who knows? They can kind of do anything with this shit, and that's what we'll kind of say. Because at that point, because why? 2 Thessalonians 2:3 says, "What? Let no man deceive you by any means, for that day shall not come, except there come a falling away first, and that man of sin be revealed, the son of perdition." Yeah, so unless there comes a falling away first, and the man of sin being revealed, which now we're in the time where both those things are happening. You've had the falling away. Most Jake don't even know that they are Jake. And then, that son of perdition, Esau, Edom, being revealed for who he is. Now is the time we're in. Who opposeth and exalteth himself above all that is called the Most High, or that is worshipped, so that he as the Most High sitteth in the temple of the Most High, showing himself that he is the Most High. And that's what Esau has accomplished in the modern day. By and large, most people are looking, at this man like he's what you call it? Like he's the Most High. He's basically had his image put up as an image of the Heavenly Father, and put up as an image of Yahweh Shai as well. And that's what most people in the world are thinking about when they think about, God. And then that also is fed into how people look at, his society. They're thinking like, they're going to him for any and everything. Any kind of issue happens, you have a, natural disaster. They ain't thinking, maybe we've done something to displease the Most High. They're thinking, no, we need Esau out here to come and save us. Same for any kind of hardship, any kind of thing that goes down, where they might have problems with acquiring food, how they live their life or whatever. They're all looking to Esau's solutions, and that's why it's as the chaos builds. It's when that charagma, the MOTB, that C-hip comes out. People are going to jump on it because it's going to be what? That great tribulation. Just because of the tribulation, people are like, nah, fuck this. And then it'll be pissed to get them to to jump into that, man. Let me read this. Job 20 and Job 20:20, it says, "Surely he shall not feel quietness in his belly, he shall not save of that which he desired. There shall none of his meat be left, therefore shall no man look for his goods. In the fullness of his sufficiency he shall be in straits, every hand of the wicked shall come upon him. When he is about to fill his belly, the Most High shall cast the wrath of his cast the fury of his wrath upon him, and shall rain upon him while he is eating." So yeah, with Esau, this what do you call that? Yeah, when he's about to fill his belly, the Most High, that's when he's gonna be destroyed. So he's gonna have fulfilled a lot of what he wants to accomplish, and that requires a lot of that chaos going down, a lot of that confusion coming through, and it's gonna be on top. it's gonna be on top for a lot of people, because why? These are things that they don't pay attention to. That's why it's like this will come as a shock. But then the reality of it is, all these tensions, they've done been there, and life has gotten harder. So what? People are more open to it. But it's not, it shouldn't be a marvel to stumble upon all this chaos, and then it's really just gonna come to laws being passed, man, action being taken. But yeah, I'll leave it there. Shalom. Shalom. Yabashim Shabashim Fakta. Shalom.